Hello guys, this is What About Nintendo, and today I am back with another weekly update on the hardware and software sales for Japan. So let's get right on into it. So of course every week we follow the hardware sales and software sales in Japan, brought to us by Media Crate, and this one is a very interesting week as far as hardware and software goes, because it seems like at first glance Sony just dominated the market in a little bit of ways. So let's look at this. Sometimes some of this you have to dig deep, and for some of it's just obvious. As far as hardware sales, at first glance you think the Switch sold the most. It's at the #1 spot, 31,092 units, down about 10,000 units from last week. I suspect this is because we're about to get a big shipment for Mario Odyssey that comes out in just 2 days, so I expect next week to be a huge boost. But this week, just 31,000 units, which is still great, just not as good as it could be if stock was there. PlayStation 4 at #2 with 25,000. At first glance, you say, hey, the Switch beat the PlayStation 4. But that's not actually the case, because if you look down at #4, PlayStation 4 Pro, if you include the PlayStation 4 Pro sales with the PlayStation 4 normal sales, it actually equals about 200 consoles more than the Nintendo Switch. Is that a big deal? No. I mean, in essence, they tied. This is like almost within margin of error. They pretty much tied the week, which is interesting because the Switch has pretty much been dominating in Japan. I imagine this is kind of a slow week, as you're going to see soon in softwares. Not much came out for the Switch, and yet a bunch of stuff came out for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita, so that obviously puts an impact on it. But we're actually seeing a week where the PlayStation 4 takes the lead. Not by much. 200 units is like, whatever. I mean, for the Xbox One, that'd be great, seeing as it can't seem to sell more than 100 a week. But as far as PlayStation and Switch, 200 units, that's not much. That's almost within margin of error at this point. But still, congratulations to the PS4 for actually coming out and outselling the Switch by a little bit. But #3 is the new 3DS XL, 84,000 units. And the new 3DS XL is at #5 with 6,000 units. Both of those are down about 2,000 units from last week. And #6 is the PlayStation Vita at 3,500 units, about the same as it was last week. Just down only a couple hundred units. 2DS at 1,367, and the rest are too low for me to even bother. Xbox One, 69 units, just sitting there. Okay. Anyways, moving on to software sales. The PlayStation 4 did really good this week, taking 7... Let's put up 2. My counting abilities seem to have waned since, yesterday. But taking 7 of the top 10 spots for software sales. And that is, I think, just because 4 new games came out on the PlayStation 4 and 2 new games came out on the PlayStation Vita, whereas only one new game entered the charts for the Nintendo Switch, just because, as I said, this is the calm between the storm, guys. Mario Odyssey, Doom, Skyrim, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, these games are coming really soon, and this is just the week-long lull between the storm. We still got some good indie games, so nothing that's going to chart on these top 20. Let's just cover the top 10 here. #1 is PS4 with the Gran Turismo Sport at 150,000 units. I suspect this sold well because this is actually going to be the first Gran Turismo that's really good in a while. They've been coming out with Gran Turismos lately that aren't that great, especially compared to Forza, which kind of just took over the simulated, driving, just car game genre. It just kind of took it by storm. Now they're actually coming up with something that competes graphically and as far as physics and handling of the cars themselves, it actually competes really well, and in some areas tops Forza, especially in the graphics compartment, with a lot of the effects and different things that they have, the lighting, just a lot of different car models, just a lot of different things are better in the Gran Turismo Sport. Even though the content isn't as much, I think it's something that they can really build on and make the Gran Turismo series great again. I almost sound like Trump here. Make Gran Turismo great again. But #2 is PS4, City Shrouded in Shadow, 48,000 units, another new game. Another new game in #3. No, all 1 through 6 are all new games. #3, PS4 Evil Within 2, selling 42,000 units. Another PS4 game, Todaki Street, Dragon Quest, and Final Fantasy 30 Anniversary, selling 42,000 units. Some weird names in here, especially this next one, number 5, PS Vita, Uta no Prince Sama, Amazing Area, and Sweet Serenade Love. That apparently was good enough to sell about 20,000 units. Pretty good for a PS Vita game. Number 6, another PS Vita game, another new one, Todaki Street, Dragon Quest, and Final Fantasy 30th Anniversary, so the PS4 version of the game I was just talking about earlier on the PS4, or the PS Vita version, 18,000 units. And now finally at number 7, we get a Nintendo Switch game with Splatoon 2. That game will sell till the end of time, 16,000 units. Number 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, another game that will sell till the end of time, 11,000 units. Number 9 is PS4 Middle-earth Shadow of War, which is 8,000 units. And number 10, Legend of Zelda finally make a comeback back into the top 10. It's been at number 11 for so long, but it hit top 10 this week at number 10, and that is 5,430 units. So overall, great week software-wise for the PS4. Nintendo Switch hanging in there. It was a kind of slow week, just not much going on, which is very odd to say for the Switch, especially in the next couple of months. It's just going to be swallowed up by too many games. So many games you can't even buy them all. And then the PlayStation 4 actually coming back and selling about 200 more units than the Switch, but I suspect that will go way up. I suspect the Switch is just, as soon as Mario Odyssey comes out, you're going to see 50, 70, 80, maybe even 100,000 Nintendo Switches selling. Like, this is just the calm before the storm, guys. Don't be like, oh, the PlayStation is coming back. It's the Switch is dying. No, it's all good. This is just kind of a slow week for the Switch. And yet, even with a slow week, even 4 new PlayStation 4 games that people have been waiting forever for, they only beat the Switch out by 200 units. Like, the Switch ain't going nowhere, guys. It's calm before the storm. They're about to come back with a vengeance. Even though I love PlayStation, it's just, I mean, the Switch is a new thing, man. It's just so good. But yeah, another mention I'd like to make is just that number 19, Nintendo Switch NBA 2K18 comes in. Not a very popular game in Japan, only sells 2,600 units. But NBA isn't known to do that great in Japan anyways, so yeah. But anyways, guys, that's all for this week's update. If you like this update, make sure to like and subscribe for more news videos Monday through Friday. And of course, I'll be doing these every Wednesday as well. And let me know down in the comments below what you think of anything I showed in this video, whether it be that PlayStation actually selling really, really good software-wise and actually beating out the Switch by 200 units if you include the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro by about 200 units. So, pretty good week for PlayStation and for Switch, but as I said many times, calm before the storm. Switch is coming back. But let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later on What About Nintendo. Bye!